Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Lives of Sask Wives. Today, I am joined by someone I actually have never met in person until just now. And I was thinking, I'm like, that's so 2026. But I have followed you on Instagram for a lot of years. I would say I've followed you kind of since your beginning of what we're going to talk about. She is a makeup artist, a total creative. She's a powerhouse on social media. She's raw, relatable, unfiltered, which is so the vibe here. She's also a mom to 3 boys, which deserves a medal to juggle it all. We know all about that. And I am so excited to have you here today. Hi, Candice. Willetts. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, we're excited to have you. Okay, so usually how I start it is I talk about how we first met, but we would be literally, you just were at my door. So that's not really the
you know
most
what?
interesting
I feel like
story.
I've known you for my whole life.
I love
We're just
it.
sitting here so comfortable.
Okay, so actually, weird thing. I was like, I don't know if I'll tell her. So your cousin Haley.
Yeah.
I was really good friends with her when I used to live in Lloyd. I moved away when I was 22, but her and I worked together.
Yeah.
And so she used to house sit for you all the time.
Yeah.
And so I would hang out with her at your house.
Yeah.
So I've watch movies in your living room, which is so weird to think.
All of that makes sense. That's so funny.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about actually just growing up in Lloyd. So were you born and raised here?
I lived here, I was born here, and then we lived here until I was 10, and we moved to Provost until I was 16.
And what brought you back?
My dad's job.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad works in the oil field,
So Haley, your moms are sisters, or what's the connection?
Our moms are sisters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we grew up really, really close. Our families are really, really close. Our moms, we've lived together. Our whole families have lived together. So
really?
Yeah. When we moved back and forth, we would stay with them while we were waiting for a house. And
so how was moving back to Lloyd when you were 16? Were you jazzed about it? Were you pissed off?
I didn't have living in a small town is really interesting because girls can be a really interesting dynamic, especially in small towns. So I was in a stage of not having very many friends when we lived in Provost, and it was actually a really traumatic experience my last year living there. So moving back was good for me.
Okay, so you were pumped about it.
Yes, I'm certain that is what pushed my parents to move back.
Okay.
Yeah, and my mom was also not happy there. She didn't love the small town life either.
Is a tough gig.
Yeah,
I
she
give
wanted
props
to be
to
around her
people who like
sisters
it.
and stuff. So it was good to move back. I wasn't prepared for what moving back would be like because I went from a small elementary in Lloyd to a school in Provost that was 400 kids, kindergarten to grade 12. Mm-hmm. And then I went right into grade 10 in the comp. And so,
which is huge for those of you that listen and aren't from Lloyd or familiar. I think it's more now, but 1,000 kids.
Yes,
400 in a graduating class typically.
Yeah, well, my class was 256.
Okay,
but
I'm surprised you know that. If someone
weird.
Gun to my head,
weird.
I'd be I have no
It's
idea.
weird that I know. I don't know what to say. But 256 in my grad class, but still, it was huge. 2-level high school.
Yeah,
and I wasn't even used to moving class to class.
Right.
Yeah. So all of that was really new for me, but I was really excited. When we moved back in the summer, and I made friends at my summer job.
Okay. What was your job?
I worked at Dairy Queen.
Oh,
I actually
we love
got
a Dairy
fired
Queen girl.
from Dairy Queen.
Why? What did you do? What was your...
A couple of different things. I don't want to say I wasn't a very hard worker, but also I got caught snacking on the little peanuts and stuff like that. And the lady that owned Dairy Queen would catch me and she'd be like, these aren't your peanuts, these are my peanuts, and you can't eat these peanuts. And I just didn't care so much about it.
Well,
so
when you're a teenager, are you really putting forth your best effort at your job? Not really.
No.
Okay, so you met girls at Dairy Queen.
Yes.
Okay. And did you have any friends that you reconnected with when you were a kid in Lloyd, you said? Anybody?
No. I was an incredibly weird little kid.
Really?
So, yeah, and I'm still weird as an adult, but I've learned to manage it. So I really struggled with friendships when I was a kid, just because
I would not give you that from what I've seen on social media.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, I struggled really bad with friendships as a child, just because I now as an adult I'm diagnosed ADHD.
Okay.
But when you're a little kid and you don't understand
For sure.
why you like heightened emotion. You're struggling to understand like why people's tones with you might be different.
Right.
Like I just really struggled with
and
friendships.
So I know ADHD can present different in girls than it does in boys.
For
What were
sure.
your symptoms like now looking back? Were you
Definitely-
hyperactive?
I wasn't. Well,
Okay.
my brain is
Yes.
hyperactive.
Okay.
So my brain moves at a completely different speed, and it's like Sonic the Hedgehog, like moving all over the place.
Okay.
Right. So I struggle to stay focused.
Okay.
Unless it's on something that I really want to stay focused on.
Okay. And so at what point did you actually get diagnosed?
I was in my late 30s.
Okay. And game changer?
Game changer, even for just understanding. I knew I probably had it,
Okay.
but I was struggling so bad mentally that I needed to either be diagnosed with depression or I needed to be diagnosed with something so that I could be medicated.
Okay. Wow. So that's a long time to struggle.
Yeah. Well,
And-
it got worse after kids.
Okay, yeah, and we can get there when we
Yeah.
get to like the kid department. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what? I always think like when we talk about kids, like our marriages, our mental health, I feel like, what the heck was
I
that?
don't know.
I always see it as like the cracks in the foundation just get deeper and deeper when you have kids.
Yes.
It really shows like what you need
Yes.
to work on. So
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to that, like I had some really long lasting childhood friends that I still keep in touch with, but for the most part, like I didn't have friends in Lloydminster before we moved.
Okay.
And that was, I didn't have.
Okay, so
friends.
high school, what was the hot hallway to have a locker in? Like when I was 600, you lined up like 3 days before.
Yeah, I don't remember what the number of the hallway was,
Okay.
but it was definitely the north hallway. Like
Oh
it was
my
the
God, you're giving me
hallway.
directions.
Okay, so like
okay,
it
the
was
hallway closest to the office?
yes.
600.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And my locker was not in that hallway in grade 10, but it was in grade 12, which is the most
you could
important.
switch in between. I didn't know.
So it might have changed, but you you went and picked your own locker.
Yeah, it was kind of
Every
like that.
year.
You showed up and it was like, I want to be in this hallway. And they're like, these are the
Yeah.
options. Go pick one.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
So my grade 10 year, I was in the hallway by the Cosmo class.
okay, yeah, like that.
The back hallway, like
Yeah.
by the shop.
Yeah.
And then grade 11 and 12, I was in the 600 hallway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So same hallway. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's a question. So, okay, you said you graduated in 2004. My husband
Yes.
graduated in 2003, but he grew up in Manitoba, small town. I don't
Yeah.
really like value his experience because he's like, I was a nerd, whatever.
Yeah.
But so when you were dating in high school later on, were situationships a thing? Like, do you know what a situationship is?
Yeah.
Okay. Were those a thing when you were in high school, or was it very much like, I like you, you like me, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend?
No, there were definitely situationships, but it was
Okay.
always a girl liked a boy and the boy didn't like the girl, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the girl really wanted to date the boy and he knew that. And so then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like, but I mean, yeah, there was always that.
Okay.
That kind
So
of thing.
my husband, like in our origin story, when we were hanging out for that first month and a bit, I didn't think we were anything. I just thought we're seeing each other.
Right.
And not that I was being a little
Yeah.
huss or anything, but then he said something one day about how, well, so-and-so asked this girl to be his girlfriend. Isn't that weird? And I was like, hold the phone. What do you mean? Isn't that weird? And he said, well, you don't have to ask. And I said, you most certainly have to ask. And then I started like freaking out because I'm like, how long has he been thinking we're boyfriend and girlfriend for?
Yeah.
So his thing is, if you just start hanging out, I'm like, well, that's a really pure thought, but not all boys are like that.
Right.
Okay. So maybe it's a Lloyd mentality thing.
I don't know.
Did you date in high school?
Yeah, well, I had a long distance boyfriend in high school for most of high school.
Where was he?
He?
Are we allowed to say?
Most people that would know me would know, but I don't
Okay.
know if I want.
No, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay. So how
Small town.
Okay. Did you
south
meet
of-
him like in your time in Lloyd?
No,
Or you knew him prior?
Because of Provost.
Okay.
I like all of the small towns all around that area all
Yes.
hung out together, and so he was in a small town by Provost.
Okay.
And so
How long did you date him for?
6 years.
Holy. So were you
Yeah.
dating him in Provost and then
No.
carried that?
So I started
Oh.
dating him at the end of grade 10, and I
6
dated
years,
him until I was 23.
Holy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
long time to be with somebody, especially in high school.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
didn't do much dating, but
No.
watched the others kind of navigate that weird.
Yeah. Like I
Okay.
had a different boyfriend in grade 10.
Yeah.
But he was like in the he was like if we're speaking hallways.
Yeah.
He was in the hallway down by like the computer labs.
Oh, loser. No.
Yeah. Like did drugs.
Oh,
Like wore
okay.
like the baggy pants, had a lip ring.
Oh, you like the bad boys too.
I don't love
the bad boys.
Now that I look back, I was like, oh my gosh, you dated someone like that. But here we are.
Yeah. Well, you know, growth.
Yeah.
Growth. Okay. So talk to me. Best bars. You graduated. I always think Lloyd is so cool in the sense that not everyone knows this, but we're the border. So on one side, you get to go to the bars when you're 18.
Yeah.
And then the other side, you get to go to the bars when you're 19. So what were the hot bars
Well,
for
it was
18?
always, the cooler.
Yes. Okay. That was still cool when
Yeah.
I could get in there underage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We actually used to do this thing. So when I was in grade 4, I actually got held back.
Okay. I thought you were going to say I went to the cooler.
No.
I'm like, oh,
So
okay.
when we moved to Provost, actually, me and all of my brothers, we got held back just because we had like missed quite a bit of school and we were a little bit behind. There was just, stuff going on.
Yeah.
So we all got held back a year. And so I went into and did grade 4 again when we moved to Provost.
Okay.
So I was a year older than all of my friends. So we would take my ID and I would use it, and then I would get a stamp.
Yeah.
And then someone else would take my ID out and someone else would use my ID, get the stamp. And we did
One
that,
after the
and
other.
we just would get into all the bars.
Like, what a life to be able to do that now when they scan and
Yeah,
everything.
you
Like,
can't get away with it.
Yeah. Okay, so the cooler was 18. Yes. Was BP still a big thing to
I
go
worked
there
at BP's forever.
Did you?
Yes, I worked there for like 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you probably served me at one point.
It was incredibly cool to go to Boston Pizza.
Yeah.
Boston Pizza and OJ's were like the places to go. That's when they were side by side.
Right.
And so...
And you could walk to the cooler after your pre-drinks over. Yes.
So I used to actually like make really decent money working
I'm sure.
there. Yeah.
I'm sure. Because, everybody's coming there to hang for the start. And then
it would be full. Like, you'd be lucky if you got a table.
Is BP still busy? Like,
No.
I remember Fishbowl Fridays.
I don't think that it's still busy. I think that their restaurant is still busy because of hockey tournaments and stuff like that. Like, I think that they still do okay. But I still like to go in there every once in a while. My husband will go there and I will go there on date night, but it's never full.
No.
Also, that's just someone that goes there sometimes. I don't actually know.
Life has changed. You're not going every Friday.
No. But I don't
you
think that
did.
it gets busy at night.
Okay.
But maybe it does, but I don't think it does.
Well, every time I've come home, I'm like, oh, where's everyone going?
OJ's.
And it's always OJ's. Yeah.
And Browns and like,
yes.
yeah.
Just restaurant-y lounge vibes now.
Yeah.
Okay, 19. Was Ezzy's the big?
Oh, Ezzy's was great. I used to remember we would just go back and forth. You would go from the cooler back to Ezzy's and then from Ezzy's back to the cooler.
I was reflecting on, because I had written on your note that I wanted to ask you about the best bars, and I loved going to Ezzy's underage at 18.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so easy to get in because your friends would just go walk in, come out to the back where everybody smoked, and then just go in the doors in the back. Like,
I never even thought about that because I was always older than my friends. So it was
you're so lucky.
Yeah, it was
I
not
remember
a thing.
being, because I'm a May birthday.
Yeah.
So all of my friends would turn 18, then all of my friends would turn 19. I'd be the last one. And I remember saying, I will never have a kid this late because it's so not fair. And then I'm like, really, in the grand scheme, like, does it matter that one time in your life? But
I definitely had all of my, like, I have one February baby, but then I've got a June and an August baby.
Okay. Oh, those poor, are they young in their grades then? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
It
It'll
is
build
what it is.
character.
Yeah.
I mean, I like a summer birthday. I kind of wished I had one now looking, but
it's fun.
Okay. So talk to me about, you finish high school. What's the plan? So are you working at BP's at that time as well?
So
or?
almost. I, right after high school, I worked the summer at the golf course.
Okay.
And then I actually worked at this little restaurant called the Long Branch. It was in like one of the sketchier hotels, like down by the tracks.
Oh, okay.
And I worked there for a little while, and then quit or whatever. And then I started working at Boston Pizza.
Okay.
So I started working at Boston Pizza when I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I was 21, then I went to school in Vermilion and I took office administration.
Oh, okay.
And I worked for the city of Lloydminster for about 3 years, but still worked at Boston Pizza that whole time. Like, even when I went to Vermilion, I still came home on weekends and worked at Boston Pizza to make money.
Okay, so you're living in Vermilion while you were...
I lived in dorms there.
Cool.
And then came home, worked on the weekends. And then I worked for the city for about 3 years. I actually got fired from the city as well.
Oh my God, you're just getting fired all the time. What's going on?
Because I wasn't doing what I was meant to do. I wasn't doing what I was meant to do. I am not the type of person that can just sit in an office and...
Which is hilarious that you went to school for office admin.
Because my mom told me that's what I should be doing.
Okay.
You have to get an oil field job. You have to get an oil field job.
Well, it's where the money is here, you know?
Yeah, but it wasn't where my heart was.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to go to hair school right out of high school, and my mom convinced me not to. That I wouldn't make enough money.
Okay.
So I didn't, and then I went to school for office administration. Yeah, and it wasn't the job for me.
Okay.
So,
and so then, when did you end up going to hair school?
I did go to hair school.
Okay.
I went to hair school in 2010.
Okay. Did you have kids yet then?
No.
Okay.
No, I was still single. So I moved to Edmonton. I went to Marvell. It's now MC College.
Okay.
And I went to hair school. I actually graduated with excellence. I did really, really well. And that's where I took my first makeup course. It just kind of felt like it went hand in hand, especially I went there mostly because I love doing hair for weddings and stuff like that. And I thought makeup just kind of went along with it.
Okay.
And I loved doing my makeup, but I wasn't passionate about makeup at that time.
Okay. Hair was the passion?
Hair was kind of the passion.
So were you like the friend that did everybody's hair to go to the parties?
Definitely.
Okay.
I remember like butterfly clips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I would do my hair for school, like elaborate every single day.
Okay.
Like I would go and get heart suckers and spray paint them gold and then like put them in my hair. It was ridiculous when I was younger.
You were very creative.
That was the kind of stuff that I would do. I loved it. But then when I got to hair school, I realized that it's not a lot about what I like to do. It's a lot about what other people want.
It's pretty boring like most of the time. Like it's roots and roots and roots and a trim.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's great because you get to talk, but it wasn't what I kind of had expected it to be.
Okay.
So I didn't actually really follow through with it.
So you went to school, and did you ever work in a salon?
No, I did a part of my practicum, but I didn't actually really I didn't know.
How long was it? A year, 2?
My course, because I did Cosmo all throughout high school, I only had to be there, I think it was like 8 months or something like that.
Okay.
I didn't have to be there for very long because I had a lot of my hours. It's very hour based.
Yeah. Okay.
So because I'd taken Cosmo in school, I didn't have to.
I wonder if that's still a thing, because my best friend Kelsey Soto, she went to hair school too. I wonder if she got hours because she took Cosmo all the way through.
She
as well.
probably did, but I don't know how it all works.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how. Yeah, but so I didn't have to stay for very long.
Okay.
Like I can't. It was such a long time ago. So
yeah, I know it's
really
hard
remember.
to reflect because it doesn't really come out as like a super important thing, like in the grand scheme,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
totally.
I know.
But I didn't. Yeah, it wasn't. I was like, I can't imagine. And at the time, I don't know if you remember how salons felt in Lloydminster, but they felt like the meanest of mean girls.
Very franchisey too. Like there weren't a lot of people branching off, opening their own salons. It was very by the book.
Totally.
What I remember anyway.
And it feels different now. When I go into salons now, it does not feel like that. But when I first was coming out of hair school, like the idea of working at Kenneth Blair, I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right? Like those girls were not nice. It didn't feel like a nice environment. And maybe they were nice. It was just how it felt when you went in.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's your experience.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't imagine going and being in that environment. So I didn't end up really pursuing that very much.
Okay.
I did it at home and stuff. Like I could still do it if I wanted to, but it wasn't my passion.
Okay. So what did you do when you
went back and worked at Boston Pizza?
Okay. We were Boston Pizza girl.
Yes.
Okay.
And I worked there until I met my husband again. My husband and I graduated high school together.
Okay. Yeah. Give me more information on
So
the
we didn't
story
hang out.
of
We were
Candice and Luke.
He was in the 400 hallway.
Which is which one? I don't
joking.
even know. I'm like, I don't even know which one the
It's
400
it's the one that's on the other side. So he was in.
Oh, the 700.
Was it 700? I was just joking.
Can't
I don't
you
know
tell
where,
I peaked in high school? I remember.
I don't remember which holiday, but he was on the other. So
Okay.
lovely. Not like he was just like not in the same crowd as me.
Okay.
I knew who he was. He knew who I was. And we just had to go walk a different path before we could come back together, if that makes sense.
So did you see him much like after graduation?
No.
Or okay, so talk to me when it all kind of started.
Christmas break at Ezzy's.
Shut up. Okay.
He came up to me at Ezzy's at the bar and was like, hey, do you know who I am? And I was like, yeah, of course I know who you are. And he was like, okay. I have liked you forever, and I am finally working up the courage to talk to you. He will deny this, by the way.
Okay.
But it's true. That's what he said.
Okay.
So then I reluctantly started to talk to him, and we ended up actually talking for like the whole night. Sitting at like one of the tables. We were talking about like Game of Thrones and stuff like that. Like it was really... yeah, cool. And then we ended up taking a cab home together. He got my number and he was like, oh, I'm going to call you again. And then about 3 days later, he texted me and he was like, hey, listen, I'm going through a lot right now.
Okay.
I don't think we should go on a date. And I was like, okay, I don't even know why you sent me a text message. Like I give a shit. I met you.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I met you at the bar when we were drunk.
Like you asked for my number, bro.
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have, I don't care. So I kind of left it at that. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, I'm just joking. I can't stop thinking about you.
Oh.
I would really like to pursue this. And so we talked actually just through text messages for about a month.
Okay.
And then we went on a date and then we hung out every single day and we were married a year and a half later.
Shut up. Wow. Okay. So just a little backtrack. Was he actually, you don't have to tell me what it was. Was he actually going through stuff or was that like a cop out?
He was engaged.
Oh,
he wasn't engaged at that time.
No. But he was going through.
He was engaged, and they were in the process of putting their house up for sale.
Okay.
And selling their house, and so definitely that's something big.
Well, actually, though, how big of him at that age to reflect enough to say, like, sorry, I'm going through it. Like, I don't have the space. Like, what guy can actually say that?
And he has always been like, I'm really, really quite fortunate with him and his emotional maturity. Right. Yeah. So it was really good. Like he definitely was like, this isn't the time to start a new relationship, which I can appreciate. Yeah. And from that moment, we actually didn't officially start dating until the end of February. Okay. So that was December like 27th when, like that's when everyone was home for school or for Christmas. Yeah. And then we didn't actually start dating until the end of February.
Wow. What a honey. I love that for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So year and a half you dated, you got married. When does baby number one come in?
3 months after that. So no, sorry.
I'm like, what?
No,
the mathing.
We had our baby before we got married.
Okay.
So our first baby, it was a whirlwind.
Okay.
So I got pregnant. We found out that we were pregnant the first night we were in our first house together. Okay. Wow. So this is actually a really funny story. He might kill me for telling it, but I'm going to tell it anyways. Okay. So
Luke, don't listen.
I could feel that I was pregnant. I never felt like that before. Like my whole body was telling me that I was pregnant. And I was like, this has got to be what it feels like to be pregnant. Okay. And I was open with him. I had told him about it. And we were very much like head over heels for each other. We were like, we don't even care. Like, we are just
throwing
like,
caution to the wind
totally,
a little bit.
We just don't even care. So we had actually just got possession of our first house together. This is 3 months in. Like, I want to say that we're...
Okay, you moved in together?
Right away. We moved in together. So, because he sold his house.
Okay.
So, he sold his house right when we started dating. And we lived for maybe... Okay, actually, it's just how it all worked out. I was living with a friend who also sold his house. Okay. So, Luke had sold his house. My friend had sold his house. I had to move out. So, we're like, wow, we obviously are spending the rest of our lives together. So, we have to move in together.
Okay, pause. How old are you at this time?
28.
Okay.
I was older.
So, you've got some life experience already.
Totally.
You know what you want, you don't want.
I was older. Okay. I had just turned 28.
Okay.
So I was older. I was ready to move on with that stage of my life. Like I had been living with guy friends for forever. I was ready to move on with my life.
Build your life a little bit more. Yeah.
So we lived for just a couple of weeks with one of his buddies, and then we got possession of our first house together.
Okay.
And we went to Walmart to get essentials like toilet paper and stuff like that. And I had already taken a pregnancy test with one of my girlfriends, and it had said negative.
Okay.
But I could feel that I was.
Okay.
I was exhausted. My breasts hurt, like everything. Like I could feel that I was. So we were in Walmart, and both of us were like, just go to the bathroom in Walmart. Just go and take it. And I was like, okay.
This sounds like an episode of Teen Mom.
Totally. So I went into the bathroom at Walmart, and I took it and I just put it back in my purse.
Okay.
And then we were in the toilet paper aisle, and I pulled it out of my purse, and clear as day said pregnant. And we just dropped everything we had in the aisle and we left.
Just in shock.
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're like, okay, well, this is how things are moving forward. Like this is going to move fast.
But actually, what a good sign that it's like we got our house together, we have possession, and now we're having a baby. Like all of the things are happening just,
For sure. And it maybe made things a little bit harder, but also it was just how it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I do not like, it was phenomenal. And honestly, I've been really, really fortunate with the husband that I managed to get in that situation. Yeah. Because it could have turned south on me.
100%.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Like it could have been really bad. But for me, it's really worked out. We've been married for almost 12 years.
Yeah.
And we have 3 kids, and it's great.
Yeah. Okay. So walk me through the age gaps of your kids.
2 years.
Between everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Good for you.
Yeah.
And did we like that?
Yeah.
At the start, were you like, holy God? Like 3 boys, Candice, is a lot.
It is. So lots of things were challenging in the beginning. My husband, after we had been together for about a year, had to end up going and working away. So he works up north.
Okay.
And for a lot of years, he was working 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Ugh. Okay.
Or he was like the foreman on a job, and he was working away for 30 days at a time. So when our kids were really little, that was challenging.
What did you do when he was gone?
To be honest, I really found a group of girlfriends who are my closest friends now, who were having babies at the same time. Okay. And I really leaned on my community of moms to help me through those times. And I've always worked while having kids. I've been at home, but I've been working.
Right.
So I've done makeup since Brolin was just before he turned a year old.
Okay, so what did that look like for Did you take training?
I took another course. So I took a course in a hair school, but I didn't feel like it was good enough.
Okay.
And I always did makeup. Like I would do makeup for people for their grads or for Christmas parties and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I never felt like it was good enough. And I started having brides asking me. So I was really good friends with another hairdresser who did wedding hair. And she would be like, come do makeup for this wedding with me. And I'd be like, no, oh my gosh, I can't. Right. I didn't feel like I was good enough.
Yeah.
So when, after we got married, some of the money that we got gifted, we took and put it towards my course.
Okay. And
so
was it online? Was it in person?
No, it was in person. Okay. It was in Edmonton, and it was 3 full weekends in a row. So I would go up and I would get there at 8 a.m. on Saturday and be there until 5 p.m. on Sunday.
Okay. Are you pregnant at this time or no? You have your baby?
I'd had Brolin.
Okay.
So we were still living in our very first house together. So he wasn't quite a year old yet when I had taken my
That's
first.
A lot to do with a little baby at home.
My husband's family's been really, really great. Like
Are they here?
They were here. Yeah. They were out by Marshall.
Okay.
And so my mother-in-law was really good about taking him overnight and stuff. She would take him for the weekend. She was really, really good about that. So I had a lot of support in that aspect with my kids when they were really little with working.
What a blessing. And to have a mother-in-law. I know not everybody has that relationship with their mother-in-law.
So I was really, really fortunate. I had a lot of help with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So then,
sorry, did you say how long the course was? Like
it
how
was
many
3
weekends?
weekends.
Okay.
And so then it was run by a lot of artists that worked for MAC Cosmetics.
Okay.
And my kit was a MAC Cosmetics kit, and it was a really good course. So that jump started me.
Okay.
And I started working. I genuinely thought that it would be 1 or 2 weekends a month
of working, doing makeup.
That's what I thought. I thought that I would just get to do it a little bit while I was at home with my kids, and it would just be very casual.
Okay.
That's what I believed.
Well, I mean, it's a good starting point anyway.
Yeah.
It's good, maybe good to have low expectations off the start. And then, so let's talk about, I guess we can talk maybe more about your kids.
Yeah.
And then let's get even more into makeup because I feel like that kind of went hand in hand. So having your kids, was postpartum depression, anxiety, was that a taboo topic back when you were having kids? Were people talking about it?
I think that it was so I actually really struggled with my first two.
Okay.
Mostly my first. And I definitely was really offended when my friends brought it up to me.
I was too. When my mom and sister were like, that's not normal to think that way. I was like, pardon you don't know.
Yeah. But also speaking about, I just already struggled with mental health.
Okay.
And so having my very first baby, there was a lot of things that I wasn't told, I didn't understand were part of it.
Yeah.
Even just things like I didn't understand that babies cluster feed to bring in your milk. I didn't know that was a thing.
Feeding.
And one of my best friends is actually a labor and delivery nurse, and she's really knowledgeable. And she's like, just keep trying. But at the time it felt like she was trying to force me to do something I didn't want to do.
Yeah. Were you interested in breastfeeding, or were you like
not
this?
with my first baby?
Okay. So what'd you do? Bottle feed him from?
I tried breastfeeding, but I did end up just formula feeding him. And you know what's so funny is I don't have an issue with how anyone feeds their babies. I think that it's important to do what's best for you. And I would never tell anybody what they should or shouldn't do.
For sure.
But on my end, I felt like the reason I felt like I should formula feed was more of an immature reason.
Okay.
I just felt like breastfeeding at the time was kind of gross to me.
Same.
Yeah.
Actually,
and
same.
I don't want to say that that's immature, but for me, it felt like maybe it was. I hadn't matured into being a mom, if that makes sense.
Yep. So did you breastfeed with your second and third, or what did you end up doing?
I didn't breastfeed with my second.
Okay.
I pumped and stuff with him.
Oh, that's a tough gig.
Yes,
Good
it
for you
is.
for doing that. How long did you do that for?
I can't even remember. I don't think it was that long, but I exclusively breastfed with my third.
And how did that go for you?
Perfect.
How long did you do it for?
6 months.
Good for you.
Yeah, it went just fine.
With mine, I remember my sister-in-law. My husband has two older sisters who were moms like way before I was, which was really nice. But my sister-in-law said to me right before I had my daughter, oh, I hated breastfeeding. And I remember kind of looking at her and being like, what an odd thing to say. But then once I had my daughter Grace, I was like, no, I do hate breastfeeding. And so I only did it for 2 months with my first. And then second baby, he's like 11 months old now. I told myself, okay, I'm going to read the breastfeeding books. I'm going to try like to just, I think it's a huge life shift to go from like, you think once this baby comes out that you're done and like you don't have to give up your body anymore, but it's like surprise, right? And so with Harvey, I was like, okay, I'm going to try. I'm going to go longer. I did 3 months and I was like, no, okay, actually, I'm just not a breastfeeding mom.
No, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
There's like, it really is fine. I think that you should just do what's best for you.
Totally.
I do think that there's lots of things in my life, I think, that were affecting me mentally at the time that I had my first baby. And so I definitely was struggling. And one of my girlfriends actually called me one day. I'd gone to Walmart to get more formula. And she was like, I don't want to bring this up and have you be upset, but at the same time, I really do think maybe you've got postpartum depression.
Okay.
And I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And now that I look back, I was like, ew.
Well, I think too, when you first become a mom, my thought was, no, I think everybody's just a little bit sad because you are really changing your life.
Yeah.
It's 0 to 100 real fast.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I justified it in my brain. Like, no, this is just hard and I just hate it. And I think some people just feel that way.
Yeah.
And that's so not the case. So what did you do when that friend, you obviously were like, okay, whatever, lady, but did you do nothing?
I didn't
you
do
just
anything.
raw dogged
I just, and I think that again is why by the time I had my third baby, which I didn't struggle with him mentally as much.
Okay.
But my husband had stopped working away as much. I mean, he was still working away, but his shift wasn't so crazy. So I had more help, and it was just, I had more friends that like I was relying more on friends. I wasn't so alone. And so I think that all helped.
I also think too, like, welcome to the party, third baby. Like we've done this 2 times.
Totally.
We know our way around the block.
And so I wasn't struggling as bad, but I was at the same time. I don't know. I wasn't struggling so much with the postpartum side of things, but with managing my life.
Okay. Yeah.
And even just
hectic, crazy.
Yeah. And even just my anxiety was like through the roof, top notch.
Okay. And do you think your anxiety stemmed from your ADHD? Like, do you think they go hand in hand? Yeah. Because I always think, like, if you have an overactive brain, you're obviously thinking a lot too, and overthinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Overthinking is a huge thing, and just all of it. So
how old are your kids now?
My kids now are 12, 9, and 7.
Okay. How's that vibe compared to like the toddler? Do you feel like it's easier at this point?
It's so much easier.
Okay, good. I was hoping you would say that.
It's so much easier.
I hear once they turn teenagers, it's like not as fun, but.
Well, in this stage of my kids, I really miss them being little. I loved them. Like them being 3, 5, and 7. They were like so funny, so fun. I loved them. Like I loved the toddler stages of my kids. I love that, and all of the little kid things that come along with that. So I'm really actually going through this stage of grief right now.
Okay.
Because like my youngest is 7, but all of a sudden he's not.
So that's grade 2?
Grade 2.
Okay. They're not so little anymore.
Something shifted, and he's like, I don't want my bunk bed anymore. I want a big kid bed, and I want this, and I don't care about, like, he's just all of a sudden just not little.
Well, I saw he was taste testing a matcha latte, and I was like, wow, I remember when you would post him, and he was like, a little toddler, little chubby guy with his big round face.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, he's just,
Okay, so you're mourning the babies and the toddlers right now.
It's still so much easier.
Yeah. That's what I'm really looking forward to, is
easier.
like my kids being able to just like get themselves breakfast, just not having someone attached to me. I know I'll miss it in moments, but it's like a lot when you're just touched out.
For sure.
I don't feel like they touch you as much when they're like 10 and 12.
No. And even my 12-year-old, like, he's shifted into like such a good kid. He's got a cell phone, and so he texts me, and he'll tell me stuff about, like, he'll be like, this kid did this today at school, it was crazy, and I'm like, okay, we're morphing into this relationship that's actually really cool.
Yeah. I've heard lots of moms say that have teenagers, are like, I actually like love being around my kids. They have a good sense of humor. Like I am their mom, but I'm also a little bit their friend sometimes. Yeah.
And so it's when we go on holiday, you're like hanging out with these little people, right? Like it's just different.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll reconvene. Maybe if I'm still doing this in 5 years, and we'll see what the teenage life brings.
Totally.
See the shift. Yeah. Okay. So let's get back into makeup. So we start makeup. We think we're going to do a couple
weekends a month.
Okay. And how does it grow? Talk me through your journey.
Hard and fast. Like,
were you the only one in Lloyd at that time?
Yeah.
Or like what
there was other makeup. So there was a couple of girls, like the girls that did my makeup for my wedding.
Okay.
They were working in the industry.
Yeah.
But I feel like by the time I came in, they were kind of stepping out.
Okay.
And there's been makeup artists that have moved in and kind of come along over the years, for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say that I was one of the only ones at that time in the area, for sure, that was like working as much as I was working.
And probably like trained in your capacity as well to actually go in person. Because I do remember at a point there was online courses to take for makeup artistry.
For sure. And I would never recommend it.
No.
Until you're trained. I take online courses all the time.
Yeah, which makes sense because you have the foundation. But when you don't, it's like becoming a teacher and not going in and doing a little teaching.
Well, and even just learning about sanitation practices, you should take an in-person course. And learning from someone is different, and
100%
than learning it online,
especially when it's such a physical thing that you do.
Yes.
Okay. So you're one of the only ones at the time. It blows up. How are you advertising at that time? It's
just on Facebook.
Okay. And what year is it? 2012?
2014.
Okay. So Instagram is not really.
It was.
It is, but it's not.
I had started my Instagram, and I started it actually the weekend that I was in like at makeup school.
Okay.
I started it with my girlfriend, who is my model, and I started posting pictures from that weekend, the course.
Okay.
And I started advertising all over Facebook. I would post on like what's happening in Lloydminster and
how did you know what to advertise? Like
I just would post pictures and say that I was a makeup artist.
Marketing of yourself. So
thank you. Yeah. I work really hard at it.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I work really hard
the back
at it.
end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of more work than people I think realize.
A 30-second reel takes me like 4 freaking hours to do. So I have a lot of appreciation for
sure.
people on social media. Okay. So tell me, walk me through the beginnings of the
I just started posting, but like I said, I think there was such a need for it. They had no issue booking.
Okay, you're being modest. You also are very good at it.
Thank you.
Like very good at it. And I think that is a very big tell of why it grew into what it did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do feel like it's something that has come fairly natural to me.
Yes.
So it was easy to grow, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I definitely put a lot of effort into advertising, and I always have. I've always really made sure that social media was a really big priority for me as far as my business. So I actually was fully booked out my very first year.
What does fully booked out look like?
Like I'm talking, I did 42 weddings in a year. I would average, my husband would actually get really frustrated because we would want to book and go away. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm fully booked. Like,
and how do you cancel someone's wedding? That's tough.
Like I was doing the most weddings in a year.
Wow.
And I was doing that until I had my third baby. Okay. I started doing weddings back after, Oliver. He was 3 months old when I started back doing weddings.
Jesus, girl. Holy. Yeah. So you only took like 3 months off, 4 months maybe?
If that.
Wow. Yeah. How long does it take? Like setup, takedown, you're doing one. Because when I think wedding, I think of just a bride, but you're not doing just the bride.
No. I used to do so many people and I don't do that anymore. I've kind of really shifted back.
Yeah.
I charge a little bit more. I take a little bit less so that it evens out. I've been doing makeup for a really, really long time. So, but I average about 50 minutes per person on a wedding morning because I'm such a perfectionist. I see girls that do a face of makeup in 30 minutes and it could never be me.
Yeah.
It just couldn't. And I have no judgment. I just for
I
myself,
do.
it just could never.
Makeup and I have judgment over that.
It just could never be me.
No.
So I would rather charge a little bit more and really take the time.
And so how many will you cap a wedding at now? How many will you say?
I won't do more than 7, depending.
That's still a lot.
I know, but it depends. So it all depends. It depends on what time you need to be ready. It depends on what time. And if I need to leave before a certain amount of time, then I can't do as many.
Right. Of course.
So it just depends on wedding to wedding.
Okay.
I usually do about 5.
Okay. And so you did that 42, that you said that was your first year.
Yeah. And it stayed like that, until I had my third baby. And I actually, when I was pregnant with Sully, I had 2 Canmore weddings.
Fun.
34 weeks pregnant, 36 weeks pregnant.
So you're standing.
And I did, I think 8 makeups at each wedding.
Oh my God, that makes
And it was my 34-week wedding that I loved the experience of it, but my body literally felt like it was going to explode. And I remember packing up my stuff, and we were in this huge resort in Canmore, and I had to walk my stuff back to the lobby. And I was trying to call my husband to come pick me up, like come get me. And he had taken the kids to a quarry and he was just living his best life. And I remember crying the whole walk back to the lobby because my body hurt so bad. And I was like, who are you doing this for?
Right.
You are not doing this for you. You're doing this for other people's acceptance of you.
Yes.
Right?
So at that point you're like, boundaries, Candice, boundaries.
Yes. Yeah. You're doing this because you have a desire to be loved by all. You're not doing this because
and it also is a really good feeling to know that you're so wanted too,
totally,
right? Like it fulfills something.
It does.
But
there's other people that can do the job. You don't have to do the job.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'm done. And
good
so I started taking just 1 wedding a month after that.
Okay, so you're
I have 3 weddings in August. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I
pretended.
I really put boundaries down and I stopped taking as many.
Okay. Yeah. And so would you say that's what majority of your looks are now is weddings, or are you taking just kind of like people's side, whatever they want makeup for? Do you know what I mean? Like they're doing I saw you did, what's her face? Is it Kennedy that just bought Boca?
Oh, yeah. So that's for business photos.
Okay.
I do makeup for everything you can imagine. Okay. this is my full-time job.
Yes.
And I work with a boudoir photographer who's phenomenal.
She's
She's so good. Marcy, MJ say yes.
Yeah.
She's so good. So we do that 1 to 2 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I do like this next week, for example, I'm fully booked through the week. Lots of grad cap and gown photos. So I'm doing hair and makeup for that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple boudoir clients. I have girls that are coming to get makeup done for business photos.
You're booked and busy, honey.
It's busy.
So how are you managing that with having your kids? Like, let's talk about when you first started and you're doing all that back end and you're doing the videos and you're posting the things. When the heck are you doing that when you have 3 little boys at home?
I'm doing that instead of taking care of my house, really.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's hard. Like even just with the podcast stuff, I'm like listening to the podcast in my ear while my kids are playing. Like you just have to really multitask.
Yes.
But like to sit on your phone and make the reels and stuff, it takes a lot of attention.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just joking a little bit, but honestly, I just do it when I have time.
Yeah. Yep.
And so my husband's really good about it. Like I'll be like, I have to sit down and I have to do this, especially when I was doing my own makeup for social media. I don't know if you remember, I used to do like crazy makeup looks.
And Halloween, yeah. I
And
remember
Halloween, yes.
And, yeah.
And that would take me 3 or 4 hours.
I'm sure.
And that was even before video was a huge thing.
Yeah.
So I would just do that for a photo. I wasn't even video or taking reels or anything.
Right.
So he was really good about that. I would do it at night a lot of times after my kids would go to bed.
Yeah.
I would, especially my Halloween makeup, I would do it in the evening.
Good for you.
And just try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing I've found about even this project is I'm like, oh, my evenings are kind of taken now because I'm recording or I'm editing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of miss just laying on the couch sometimes.
Totally.
But when it's a passion project, you want to do it.
Yes.
But it does feel like work when it's taking away from the other things you enjoy too.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. There has to be balance.
Yeah. Okay. So walk me through kind of your evolution of the makeup looks and the courses that you've taken. So what kind of courses is a girl taking after she's been doing it for X amount of time?
It's always good. I think that the thing that all people within any industry need to keep in mind is that things shift.
Very
and that
much, yes.
Trends change. And if you keep doing something the exact same way you've always been doing something, you'll eventually get left behind.
Right.
So I always want to make sure that my education is current. That I know what the current trends are, how to do the current trends. And so I have taken lots of different courses based on trend.
Okay, so where would a girl take a trend course? Where are you finding
these? It's all about following other makeup artists. I was
going to say, are you scrolling lots and seeing different?
Yes, and I learned so much from other artists. And I don't think that I would be in this industry if it wasn't from learning from other makeup artists.
Yeah.
So I try to follow as many makeup artists as I can. Okay. I love to see what other people are doing, how they're doing it, what they're doing. And all of my courses have been from other makeup artists.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Because I love their work. I want to figure out how they're doing it and how they're achieving the look that they put out. So then I will take their course and they'll teach me, and then I'll implement some pieces of that into how I do what I do.
Okay, I also should tell you, I was scrolling TikTok. I don't know how long ago this was, a couple months maybe. And this girl came up and she was like, a random influencer, lots of likes, lots of follows. And she's like, oh, I had a makeup artist tell me that I'm more of a, I can't remember if it was like a peach.
That was me.
Or a rose.
Yeah.
And she was like, thank you so much. In the thing was like, thank you so much, Candice Willetts. I was like, Candice has made it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's Catherine. And
okay.
I've followed her for a long time.
Yeah.
And every time she would do her makeup, I would see that she was using a very warm toned foundation, which is like yellow undertone.
Yes.
And her makeup, as soon as she would put it on, it would look straight up yellow on her. And finally, one day, I'm like, how do I tell her this in the most kind way?
Right.
Because I don't want to ever offend anyone. And I don't want a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you must look at my makeup and be mortified. I'm like, no, I don't actually care what you're like.
If it was your own work, maybe then you'd be more critical.
If one of my friends' foundations was a very bad match, I would tell them in a delicate way.
Yes.
And so I just I just commented and was like, listen, I love your videos, but you're cool toned. And I just have to tell you, it's like something that I've noticed forever. And she took that so well.
She did.
Yes.
She did. And I was like, what a nice thing to like shout you out too.
Yeah.
To be like, look how great my face looks today because Candice told me whatever. I was
Totally.
like, that's so cool.
At first she hadn't really mentioned it. And then people were commenting, and because there's another makeup artist who's really popular on TikTok called Shelly Ann.
Okay.
Or named Shelly Ann. And she really recommends like one of these L'Oreal foundations or whatever. And so she was like, yeah, I'm going. And Shelly Ann recommends blah, blah, and people would be like, oh, Shelly Ann needs to show me. And I was like, it wasn't Shelly Ann. It was me.
Don't take credit.
Totally. But then she ended up
That's so nice.
posting a video about it, which was really, really nice. It was.
I was like, Candice has made it, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about the move to Georgia in the midst of all this makeup stuff.
So the move to Georgia was really, really challenging for me. It was one of those things that was definitely something we had to do. It wasn't an option. It was an option, but it wasn't an option, if that makes sense. My husband's our main provider. He definitely is the one that like pays for our livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
So this was such a good opportunity for him.
Okay.
Business wise, like he had to do it.
And what is his job? If you don't mind me asking.
He works for Suncor.
Okay. And so, what is he a trade or?
He is. He actually has the most things. He is he's very driven. So he's got all the things.
Okay.
So I'm not entirely sure what exactly he does where he works.
Okay.
But he got sent down there because he's very, very good at his job. So the company that we got sent down there for, Suncor invests in that company.
All right.
So they didn't have enough skilled workers to build this plant.
Okay.
So my husband was really good at commissioning. He understands it. He's very good at finding problems and understanding how things need to be built. Mm-hmm. So they had him fly all over North America and test all of the different pieces for this plant that was going up. And once everything was tested and approved, then it got shipped to Georgia, and we had to be there for the plant to be built while it was in Georgia.
Okay. Yep.
Yes.
And so was the thought process like you could stay back, but then you're not seeing your husband for X amount of time? Was that even
never an option?
It was never an option. Okay.
No.
The option was everybody goes or everybody stays.
Especially because we knew how busy he would be. We wouldn't have seen him.
Also, the flights would be gross to get there.
It wasn't an option. It was there was like move the whole family. Okay. The company was really, really great. They paid all of our bills and expenses when we lived in Georgia. So we just had to cover the cost of our house and stuff here.
Okay. And you had someone renting, didn't you?
My mother-in-law stayed at our house.
Okay.
Yeah. So our house was like, most of our furniture was there, and they fully furnished a house for us in Georgia.
What did the boys think of going down there? Were they excited? Were they a little bummed?
They, I don't think, understood really. They didn't seem very scared, but they were fine. Honestly, they were fine.
And how was it for you?
It sucked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you make any like friend
Not a
connections?
single friend.
How the heck do you though when you're an adult and your kids are in activities, I guess, but
I thought it was going to be so different. I genuinely believed I would make a friend. I tried so hard for the first 6 months we were there.
Yeah.
I went to every activity at school. I would try to talk to other moms. I
remember you talking about this maybe a bit on your stories. Yeah.
I went to everything. I tried to talk to moms during baseball. I would tell them that we were new to town, that we were hoping to make friends. Like I tried really, really hard.
Yeah.
And then come Christmas, I was like, I'm not trying anymore. Yeah. I'm not going to try anymore.
Okay.
It's a completely different place. The South.
How many people lived in the place?
About the same as Lloydminster.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's same size-ish.
Yeah. It was.
The South is different.
The South is different. We lived in the Bible Belt. So the Bible Belt, and we got warned.
Maybe you should have went to church. You could have made friends at church.
We talked about it. There was a moment where we were like, do we even just for our
bite
kids?
The bullet
yeah.
Here?
And my husband was like, no, we're not. But we would have made friends if we went to church. It was everything there was heavily centered around religion. Everything they did.
Was it a Catholic school?
They don't have Catholics.
Oh, they don't. They just have their school system.
Baptist, Protestant. They mostly Baptist.
Okay.
But no, they do not have Catholics.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you busy yourself with? Were you doing makeup? Like I saw a few makeup looks you did. How did you get that going?
Actually, so this is really interesting. Again, social media, if you ever have a business, is you have to do it.
Yeah.
You just have to do it. So I made it. we moved there in July, and by November, I was like, I cannot not work.
Were you big and booming on social media at this point?
I was definitely, I hit 10,000 followers in Georgia.
Okay.
But my reach was way better when we lived here originally. I was doing fairly well. Like, I had a really good reach. I had really good interactions on my posts. Like, everything felt like it would hit. Everything I would post would hit before we moved. And I kind of had this delusion that when we moved, I would do better.
Well, you're expanding, right? You're going to a new location.
That's what I thought. I thought like, I would think in the States, I would have this better chance. And my reach completely fell off.
You're going to the States, you're going to get famous.
But not necessarily famous. But I just thought that I would I would expand to a different location.
Right.
And what happened was the opposite of that. And I didn't realize, because then my husband and I did more research into it, because after I'd been there for about a month, it was like no one saw my stuff at all.
Weird. And so what was
So Instagram pushes your content out to people in your location first. And if it gets traction, then they push it out to other people.
Okay. It just, so it's like the arteries.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So no one followed me where I was.
Right.
Yeah.
So that, how do you break into that unless you're like shouting out local places and they share your story? And
yes.
Okay.
So that was challenging, because then I was like, oh my gosh, I've spent such a long time building this.
That's tough, Candice, to move all the way down there.
Yeah.
And then your Instagram is kind of tanking.
Yeah, it was. And not only that, so my kids were all in school full time for the very first time ever.
Okay.
My husband, we had kind of thought that he was going to be at home every night. And that was the first time ever in like 10 years that he would be home every night. And so we would have this life where he went to work in the morning and he was home at night. And then we would have each other and it would be great.
Yeah.
Right. But then his job was so demanding. He was still home every night, but he was working on his computer. He was answering phone calls.
Yeah, it's like he's home, but is he home?
He wasn't present.
Okay.
And so I was just
that's really lonely. I feel really sad for you.
All of it was so lonely. And so I feel really bad, because my husband had one experience that was so positive.
Of course.
His whole experience about it was so positive. And my experience was positive when we were together. I loved all of the things that we got to do. We lived really close to the ocean.
That's so
we're
cool.
a 5-hour drive from the Gulf of Mexico. Like, we got to do some really very cool things while we were there.
Mm-hmm.
But most of my time was spent completely alone.
Yeah.
And I had my dog,
hard.
but then lots of times it was too hot to even go out for a walk or anything. So, so anyways, I made it to November and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I knew that we were going home for Christmas. Mm-hmm. So I flew with my entire freelance kit, all my lighting, everything. I brought it home and I put it on my social media that I wanted to video clients. So
this is the first time you're videoing, or
first time I'm ever videoing clients. And I knew I needed to learn how to do it.
The brain is moving. Yeah. We're like, what do we got to do here?
I need to learn how to do this. So I put it out there, and I had 5 girls over the course of the 2 weeks I was home come and get their makeup done for free. Nice. And then I videoed it and I edited it and I started posting and advertising. So I boosted my posts in Georgia.
Yeah.
And I started posting their photos in groups in Georgia.
Okay.
To say that I did makeup. Okay. So at that time, a boudoir photographer who was moving from Florida to Georgia found me and reached out to me and asked if I would do hair and makeup for her boudoir sessions.
Perfect.
Yes.
Little in, you're like, yes, I will. Yes, I will. I'm available anytime.
Yes.
Middle of the night, I'm there.
So then I ended up doing hair and makeup for her starting in January, twice a week for the rest of the time I was there.
Okay.
And that was the best thing ever to happen to me there, because that I got to talk to women. It gave me something in the day that I had purpose for. And it really made me be like, I could maybe stay here. Right? Like that was the first moment when
you felt a bit of purpose outside of like raising your kids when they're home.
I had some of my own money. Not that my husband is really, really great.
No, for sure. But there's like a little bit of freedom and independence in that.
Yes. Yeah. And I had some of my own money, and it was the best thing to happen. It really turned things around for me. Okay. And made me happier to be there.
Okay. Yeah. And so when did you come back? What time of year?
We came back at the end of August 2024.
Okay. And what were the feelings? Like, Luke was a bit sad to come back, or was he ready?
We really had to talk about whether or not we were staying or coming home. It was there.
Okay.
He had many job offers.
I was going to say,
my husband's very good at what he does.
right.
And so we had quite a few job offers to stay. And I really didn't think it was the right call. Like my whole body was telling me it wasn't the right call. And I felt really bad because like I said, he really loved what he did there.
Yeah.
It gave him so much purpose. He loved his job. We still owned our house in Lloydminster.
Mm-hmm.
I just really, in my whole being, didn't feel like that was the right choice for us.
Yep.
And so we agreed to come home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did the kids think? Were they happy to come back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were. They loved stuff about Georgia. They really
There's
did.
pros
There was
and cons, I'm
yes.
sure, to each space,
Yeah,
right?
my oldest really talks about it in a positive way. My other two don't. My oldest definitely loved a lot of things about it. We lived backed onto a field. There was new construction, so they were building, but he got a dirt bike when we were there,
Cool.
and he could just go out and ride his dirt bike. There's lots of things that he loved about it.
Yeah.
So he definitely,
Okay.
he talks about it in a positive way, but prefers to be here.
It's like,
They love the guns in the South.
yeah. And I just, the schools and all that stuff freaked me out.
Yeah.
Was that ever a thought when you were down there? Like, I'm a little nervous about this.
Oh, it was my biggest fear about moving. And honestly, so my kids, we did a lot of research. Georgia actually doesn't have a lot of school violence at all.
Oh, good.
In the inner city for sure. Atlanta is in Georgia, so that's obvious an issue.
Yep.
But they don't have, like, they haven't really had a record of that happening in any of their smaller areas.
Okay.
And we kind of got reassured. We had to speak to a counselor before we moved down, and she kind of reassured us that it would be okay.
Okay.
And so our school had a police officer on staff at all times.
Okay.
He walked around the school. He was on staff, and all of the doors had bulletproof glass. And you had to be buzzed into the school.
Okay.
So you couldn't get into the school without being buzzed in
So a lot of
first.
precautions.
Totally. And there were signs outside of the school, which I thought was the most wild thing, that said that if you enter the school with the intention to harm a child, staff is armed and trained and you will be taken out on contact.
Shut up.
Yes.
Oh my God. What a wild world to live that way.
Yes.
You know, like, thank God, kind of. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
my kids are protected, but also like, why are we living in a world where we have to do this at a school?
It was the craziest. But once my kids were there for a while, I felt more and more safe with them being there.
I remember you posting a story saying like, yeah, that's the school right over there, but I have to go and wait in a car pickup line because I'm not allowed to get out of the vehicle.
Yeah,
That's
I had
crazy.
to do car pickup. But to be fair with them, and after I did it for a while, I understood why.
Yes.
The school was actually on the outskirts of town for a really long time, and they only started doing new development the year when we moved.
Okay.
Our house was a brand new build. Those houses weren't there before, so it wasn't zoned for walking.
Okay.
There wasn't walking paths, there wasn't sidewalks, there wasn't anything to make it so that my kids could safely walk. And the school, or the road in front of our house, was the road that everyone drove to drop off for that drop off zone.
Okay.
So it was busy.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure
And
every vehicle
the speed limit in front of our house there is totally different than here. It was school zone, but it was 40 miles an hour.
Fast.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Fast. And that was their school zone in front of our house. So I understood why I had to drive them.
Of course. It's just very different.
It is
obviously.
totally different.
Like, so not how Canada is. Okay, shift a little bit. Last thing I want to talk to you about is the social media and the growth. So being in the field that you're in, of the beauty and the social and whatever, when did things like really take off for you with your numbers?
So to be honest, I feel like it's been a really slow growth.
Okay.
I've been posting on social media for 12 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Now.
Yeah.
And it's a really slow growth.
Yeah.
I hit 10,000 in 2024.
Okay.
And hit 11,000 in 2026.
Yeah, you did.
Right?
Good for you.
It's a really slow growth.
Yeah.
And especially I think living in this area, everyone that is going to follow me in this area probably follows me.
Right. It's like, where do you expand to at this point?
Yeah.
Without taking your business a million different places.
But that's where posting content that isn't necessarily only client based goes a long way.
Yeah.
I know that I have people that follow me all over the place. But it's definitely a really slow growth. So I always look at it differently than maybe someone else that looks at my page and like, wow, you're doing really great. And I'm like, I could be doing better.
But you know what, Candice, like 11,000, that's a lot of eyes on you. Do you ever feel weird about posting that you're like, so many people I actually don't know?
I had to really...
Obviously, they relate to you.
Yeah. You know what? I think that it's really interesting because I know that there's definitely people that like pass my posts around and they're kind of like, oh my gosh, this is so cringe.
Do you ever see that the little arrow and there's a couple? I'm like, what are they saying about me?
Yeah, for sure. People are sending my posts around.
I'm like, yeah, whatever. You're sending it around.
But here's the thing is when you look at Real Wives of Mormon Wives, for example.
Yes.
They were doing little dances on TikTok and now they're making millions of dollars a year.
Yes.
You cannot build and move forward and do big things in life without being a little cringe.
You have to put yourself out there. You have to
put yourself out there. You just have to do it. And so I struggle to do it in front of other people. But if I can get in front of a camera all by myself.
You're so freaking funny.
I'll just do whatever. Like it doesn't, but putting it out there onto the internet, there are some people that will judge me and they're going to think,
sure.
But I don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like whatever, you're being authentic. It's like, well, you're probably not my type of person anyways in real life.
Totally. Yeah. And if you judge me for really trying hard at something that I love, then that's on you and it's not on me.
Do you ever feel when you walk into like social settings now of a lot of strangers, you're like, you get eyes on you of like, oh, I know that's Candice Willetts. And you're like, I don't know many people in this room.
The thing that... It happens a lot where people know who I am, but I'm not sure but I've also lived here my whole life. And this is something I have to explain to my kids because oftentimes they'll be like, oh, well, that person knows you because, you know, of this. And I'm like, well, actually, I've lived here my whole life.
Right.
So people know me because I know them and we played soccer together when we were 6 or I worked at Boston Pizza for a lot of years. Right.
Which is a lot of faces in there.
I think that there's a mixture of it.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Like there's a mixture of the fact that we have that parasocial relationship where I post a lot on social media. So lots of people think that they know me because of that.
100%.
But I also think that it's a mixture of me living here my whole life as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
So that kind of humbles you a little bit too, where you're like, no, they probably just know me because I've lived here forever.
Totally.
See, this podcast, it's so weird because I know that there are a lot of people that I actually have zero ties to listening. Mm-hmm. So I'll go out in public and people give me weird looks sometimes and I'm pretty perceptive and I'm like, do they listen to the pod? Do they not listen to the pod? You know, you just get that weird look of like, do you know me? Do I look weird? Do I like what's going on?
Well, and it's also such an interesting thing. Like I'll go to Walmart looking like a hobo. And then someone will be like, send me a message and be like, oh my gosh, I saw you and your kids at Walmart today. I was going to say hi. I'm like, oh, I looked like a hobo. But I really like it. I think that I definitely have had stages throughout this journey where I posted too much of how I felt about things online. Okay. And a lot of the time I was struggling so bad mentally that once I wasn't and I thought about it clearly, I was like, oh my gosh, why would you post that on social media? Right.
It's learning.
And it's growing and learning different things. And so I am a lot more mindful about what I post now.
Yep.
I was a lot more free, willy-nilly posting anything I thought a couple years ago, especially during COVID and like all of that stuff.
Okay.
And I wouldn't do that now.
Yeah.
But
I think social media has shifted a lot too.
Yeah.
Where like you do have to be mindful of what you're saying and what you're posting.
People started recognizing my kids and that was something that was...
Okay. So have you taken kind of a back burner on posting your kids? Yeah. I've never posted my kids on social media because it freaks me out a lot, but okay.
Yeah. I post them a little bit.
Okay. But they're getting to be ages where they can kind of give you consent to if they want to be on things, you know?
And there's little things like people would say to my kids, you know, they would know details about things that they did that, and I
get it.
You know,
I 100% get it.
Like, oh, I know your mom, and I'm like, okay, my kids can't be on my social media anymore.
I hate the idea of someone knowing me as an acquaintance, but knowing what my kids look like and being able to go up to my kids in public and being like, hey, you're Grace Lewis.
Yes.
I don't know why that just weirds me out, that I'm like, I need my kids to have that stranger danger thing, and people knowing their name and what they look like just weirds me out a little bit.
Yeah.
And all the power to people who like are trusting and are whatever. It's just not for me.
No.
Yeah.
So there was something that shifted, especially when we moved back to Canada, where I was like, okay, they're not going to be on here as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. And I'm not going to post where we are when we're there. Like little things like that.
I know. It's just things that you don't really think about. Not that we're like friggin' celebrities, but I watch the celebrities and they don't post things in real time either. No. There's just a lot of like,
for sure. And you don't have to be a celebrity. And I get my girlfriends will poke fun at me. They'll be like, oh, this is Candice. She's a famous influencer. And I'm like, that's silly. I have a really well-known business.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think of myself like that. Like,
which is good.
I have a really well-known business, which is good because that proves that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
And you're doing a really good job of it. So
Thank
talk
you.
to me. One more thing I wanted to ask you because I'm not a makeup girly. My mom's not a makeup girl. Was anyone in your family
My mom
makeup?
is the biggest tomboy. When I first asked for a bra, she was like, why would you want that?
Okay, so
my
just
mom
makeup was like
makeup.
not a passion in our world. And I'm like kind of starting to dabble into things. I'll text my one girlfriend like, what do I do for this? What do I do for that? But so when someone comes to you and says, hey, I saw this look on Pinterest. This is what I want. And you know that it's not gonna translate well onto them. Yeah. How do you spin that?
I ask them what their favorite part about it is. Okay. And what they like about the photo.
Okay.
Lots of times people like how that person looks.
Well, right.
It's not actually about the makeup at all. It's about that they like how that person looks. They think that person looks pretty. So I say, okay, what about that look do you like? Okay. You notice that this person has different eyes than you. This look will look this way on you. Is that something? Do you like the colors of that eyeshadow? Do you like the sparkle of that eyeshadow? What about that eyeshadow do you like?
Very smart.
Right? And so then when you break it down that way, then people are like, oh, yeah, you're right.
They're actually really thinking about. Yeah.
And you have to, do you understand that that's not going to look the same on you that it looks on this person? This is how this might look. You might want to try doing this instead of this.
Do you ever have someone come in and just say, work your magic, I trust your vibe? Okay.
Yeah, so lots and lots. Especially my style now. My style now, I wouldn't say it's natural. It's definitely not natural, but it's definitely more...
It's like subtle, I would say.
Yeah, it's soft.
Yeah.
And so I have lots of people that just trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say it translates very well. Because, I look at the befores and I know they probably take so much time to edit and do all the voiceovers and whatever. And then the after, and I'm like, no. And you're actually educating people throughout the reel, which is so helpful.
Thank you.
For a person who doesn't do makeup, you're like, this is why I'm doing this, or this is, she asked for this, but we're actually changing this. Yeah. The bridal ones, genius. Yeah. How you're like, this was her trial. Yeah. We decided we didn't like this. Look how much better this looks. So genius. Like 10 out of 10. Good job. I think I've commented on a few where I'm like, yes, Candice, this is what we need as girls who don't do makeup.
I've had a couple brides this summer that came in really specific with what they wanted. And in my head, I thought, but you have to let someone try something in order to know it's not for them.
For sure.
Right?
Yep.
And there was one bride who came for her trial and I hated how her makeup turned out. And I hate that feeling. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
And
do you think you hated it because you just did exactly what she was asking and you knew, or it just didn't translate how you were hoping?
It just didn't look, and she had come really, really fair. And what
did you
she wanted,
video this one? Okay, I was gonna say I recognize this story.
And her bridal makeup turned out so good, and I'm like, thank God she trusted that it was going to turn out. Yeah, because her trial, I was like, it didn't look awful. It just wasn't what I would have hoped for her.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So are you willing to travel, I guess, for people that are listening? Because I got people like here, there, and everywhere listening to this pod. Are you a traveling wedding girl? Are you trying to stay local because you've got the kids and you're busy? Like, what does business look like now?
It really depends. Okay. So I've been doing makeup full time for 12 years. Yes. So a lot of times people look at my price and how much it would cost for me to travel. And they're like, oh.
Don't have that in the budget.
Yeah. Yeah. I just have a lot of experience. I know what I'm doing, right? So
100%.
I've put my time in.
You're at a premium rate, girlfriend.
Yes,
good for you.
I've put my time in. So yes, I'll travel, but it depends. I really limit my availability during the summer.
Good for you. So, as a girl should. Which is tough because it's wedding season. Yes. But the fall is becoming a way more popular time to get married.
And saying that, I have 3 weddings in August, but I actually last year canceled all of my May, June, and July weddings because my son had expressed that he wanted to try out for AA baseball. And I knew that would consume our whole summer. Yeah. I didn't know if he was going to make it, but I hoped that he would. And I had to put all of my energy in the fact that he would.
Right.
And so I have no real weddings.
Good for you. But good for you though.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I'll travel.
You're willing and you have, do you have a website that people can know? What are we doing? Instagram, DM?
Instagram or Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess let's plug that. Where can people find you?
My Instagram.
They've probably already found you.
Yeah. I don't know about that. But my Instagram is candice.willets.
Yep.
And if you just search Candice Willetts makeup artist on Facebook, it would come up.
And I'll tag you in all the posts I make for the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so
You're
much for coming. This was wonderful.
Thanks for having me.
I had so much fun recording with Candice. I was super nervous to have someone on that I had never actually spoken to in real life. But honest to goodness, as soon as I opened the door, we were just like, hey, how was your trip? How was whatever? It felt like I was literally catching up with a girlfriend I hadn't seen in a couple of years. So super grateful that she came on my podcast. She is literally to a T what I feel our podcast represents. She's so freaking funny on her Instagram. If you don't already follow her, which I'm sure you do, because I think she brought a lot of an audience here today. But if you don't follow her, go and follow her. She's so funny. Literally, she is so good at makeup. I would trust her wholeheartedly. If I ever needed my makeup done in Lloyd, which I'm always just there for like Christmas, I'm not getting my makeup done for Christmas Day. But if I was ever in need, I would literally get my makeup done from her. And yeah, so much fun. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, rate, review wherever you listen to your podcast. Share this podcast with someone you think needs a little uplifting moment, girl chat. We're just trying to send it to the masses. I just want people who maybe are feeling isolated in a time of motherhood or being a wife to feel like they have a space where they feel understood. So thanks so much for having your morning coffee or your evening wine with us. Catch you next week. Love ya. Bye.